So I was watching Leon suplex cultists for the 15th time in Resident Evil 4, and it got me thinking. This dude survived Raccoon City, fought literal bioweapons, and somehow keeps perfect hair throughout all of this. But that got me thinking, could horror's biggest names survive him? Like, imagine Jason Voorhees getting a roundhouse kick to the side of the head, and getting his machete parried by someone who treats a handgun like an extension of their body. Actually, now that I think about it, some of these might be closer than I thought they'd be. Yeah, and I see you reaching for the comment section to tell me about how these killers are unstoppable. Trust me, I'm gonna prove you wrong in a second, but first, let's talk about what makes Leon such a nightmare for people stupid enough to come at him with a chainsaw. We're gonna start with what I'm calling the warm-up round, you know, trying to get our, I don't know what that was. This group of people, they're just really messed up, average killers, no supernatural ability. They're just some normal dudes with a little something mixed up in the head. They're just your good old-fashioned murderer. First up is Ghostface. Yeah, this one's not even close. I'm sure you guys will even agree with me. Look, I love me some meta horror commentary, but we're talking about someone whose whole thing is sneaking up on teenagers. But Leon can literally hear anybody infected by Las Plagas like 3 blocks away. And sure, I get that Ghostface's whole thing is that he works with someone, but Leon's been dealing with multiples since the beginning of his career. Like literally his first day in Raccoon City. Plus, remember that time in Resident Evil 6? Or should I say times? Yeah, I don't think I need to show you much more to prove that Ghostface is just getting bodied by Leon. But you want to know who might actually give Leon a run for his money? Someone who already has experience trying to chainsaw government agents. Alright, let's talk about this little chain flaw influencer right here, Leatherface. Our favorite little dude from Texas. He's not very little, I lied. I know what you're thinking, Leon already dealt with a situation just like this. Well, yes and no. Leatherface brings something to the table that Dr. Salvador didn't. Dr. Salvador follows some sort of logic. He's infected, he gets his orders, and he's trying to protect his weird little cult village. Leatherface, this guy just acts on pure craziness. He doesn't care. It doesn't matter if you hurt his mom, if you stepped on his lawn, if you literally just existed, he wants to kill you. But here's the thing, Leon has this thing where he actually performs much better when he's pressured. Like, this guy thrives in pure mayhem. Like, here you be crying and screaming, Leon grabs a rocket launcher multiple times. So let's think about it. Maybe Leatherface tried to strategically think something out. Leon's a special agent. He's gonna defend against it. He's gonna parry that chainsaw. We've seen him do it with a little knife. Imagine he gets his hand on something bigger. Like, you throw pure chaos at him. This dude has a counter for that. Watch this. He didn't have to do it, but it worked. Exactly. And unlike your average Texas teenager, Leon has experience with this exact scenario. And the main takeaway from this is Leatherface, you know, he might have a little bit of an upper hand, but Salvador and him are pretty close. And if we think about it, Salvador was the main boss of the entrance of Resident Evil 4. This guy was just a warm-up for Leon. So how do you think Leatherface will be much more than that? Leatherface would have a better shot of inviting Leon to bingo than killing him.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
This dude's unpredictable, but speaking of unpredictable, our next contestant takes chaos to a whole nother level. And unlike Leatherface, this clown might have a few tricks up his sleeve to catch Leon off guard enough to kill him. And like I said, it's a clown. Everyone's kind of scared of clowns, at least. Art the Clown. Now, we're getting into some interesting territory with Art the Clown. And if you haven't seen Terrifier, just know this isn't your average clown at a birthday party that makes your little sister cry. This is the kind of clown that makes Pennywise look like he's trying too hard. See, Art the Clown actually brings something to the table that might knock Leon off his rocker. Leon's whole thing is analyzing threats and making calculated approaches to defeat them. But how do you analyze someone who operates on pure, demented creativity? This is a killer who will turn your regular old murder, I mean, I don't think those two words should be in a sentence together, but anyways, who turns your basic murder into some weird art exhibit. The thing about Art is he has this way of getting into people's heads, not through supernatural means, like some of our later contestants, but through pure psychological warfare. He doesn't just kill you, he makes you watch him enjoy it. Oh, gross. And while Leon's faced some pretty messed up stuff, most of his enemies have at least followed some sort of twisted, chaotic logic. Did I just rap? But Art, there's no master plan here. No virus to cure, no world to cleanse, no family to avenge, just pure, unfiltered madness. And that's where things get a little dicey for Leon. Leon, even when dealing with these crazy monsters, at their peak of insanity, they at least have a little bit of logic left. Art just kills you because you looked at him funny, and he also just kills you because you didn't look at him at all. That being said though, Leon has experience with some of the most unexpected things. For example, cults. Leon has faced against the cultists in Resident Evil 4 all the way to Salazar in Resident Evil 4 to even Sadler. He's experienced so so many different things that make him stay on his toes and expect literally anything at all. Plus, let's be real, Art is unpredictable, but he's still human, kind of. He's been seen to come back to life, so that might leave a little bit of a problem for Leon, but I was just thinking, Leon, what if you just, when you kill him the first time, you get up and you move across the world? You can find a new job, you're experienced, but now we're about to get to the really big, heavy hitters, the ones that make Art look like a PG-13 film. Our first contestant has been stalking Haddonfield since before Leon was born, and he's got a few tricks up his sleeve that not even Raccoon City could prepare you for. Let's talk about Michael Myers. Here's where things get complicated. On paper, Michael might just seem like another guy with a knife, but anyone who's watched the Halloween movies knows something different. There's something that is off about him. He's been shot, he's been stabbed, he's been burned up, and even blown up, and he's been to space. Now, I know that Leon has experience with seemingly unbeatable enemies. The difference though, when Leon puts something down, it stays down. Except when they go into different stages, but we'll get to that in a second. Eventually, the rocket launcher is gonna do the job. Michael treats things like this like a minor scratch. While Leon's dealt with some pretty messed up criminals, he's never dealt with something that kills just to kill. There's always a motive behind it. That being said, Leon does have some advantages here. He's faster and more agile. Let's be honest, Michael's not exactly known for his quick movement. Plus, Leon has this uncanny ability to figure out what makes enemies tick. The problem though, Michael doesn't have a tick. He doesn't operate on logic or reason. He's just there, walking menacingly. Put in like that Patrick clip or something. Could Leon put him down? Maybe temporarily, but Michael's whole thing is coming back. I'm not talking about that Michael. That one actually didn't come back. But I want to go over a few things that might make it teeter either way. This is a pretty close match. He's fought some crazy enemies. He's fought plant people. He's fought giant monsters multiple times, like Saddler going through his different transformations, Mendez. You know, he's got a bunch of much bigger foes, and Mr. X is the best comparison. He is pretty much bulletproof the whole game. The only thing that Leon can do is stagger him temporarily. But the thing that Mr. X has is he can shapeshift into something that's easy for Leon to kill. Not necessarily easy, but gives him an opening. Before in the beginning game where Mr. X is just in his base form, he seems pretty much unstoppable. If he stayed in this form, I could very well see it being that he just couldn't die. Michael Myers, the early game Mr. X, I could very well see Leon losing this fight. But then at the same time, it's Leon. He might just backflip his way out of it. But if you think Michael is hard to keep down, let's move on to our next one, Jason Voorhees. He might make you not want to be a camp counselor. Alright, let's dive into everyone's favorite hockey enthusiast, and when I say dive, I mean to the deep depths of Crystal Lake. Here's the thing about Jason. He's like if someone took Michael Myers, cranked up the strength to superhuman levels, and replaced the calculated stalking to pure unstoppable momentum. This guy punches heads clean off, and unlike our previous contestants, Jason actually has something that might give Leon a run for his money. He has experience killing trained professionals. Like, remember all those times where police or military tried to stop Jason? That went as well about as trying to stop Leon from going to bingo. Leon, no, we have to fight him. But then we gotta think about it because Leon's definitely more trained than your average SWAT team. And saying average for a SWAT team is crazy because they're skilled professional, but Leon, he's on a different level. But the thing about Jason is he has this little thing where he just treats guns like minor annoyances. Sure, Leon's got a bunch of random weapons inside of that case where he has to try to arrange them around eggs and random plants. But Jason takes shotgun blasts to the face and treats them like they're nothing. I mean, what's Leon gonna do? Try to suplex him? I mean, he might actually try to do that now that I think about it. I kind of want to see that now, actually, that I bring it up. But here's where things get really interesting, actually. Leon's usual strategy of shoot it until it mutates, then shoot it more, and then maybe a little bit more. Jason doesn't mutate, similar to Michael Myers. He doesn't transform, he just keeps coming. Pause. Yeah, Leon's dealt with persistent enemies before, like Mr. X, but he was able to mutate into something that Leon could actually fight, similar to Michael Myers. The real problem isn't even Jason's strength or durability, it's his resurrection fact. Jason can't just toss him in the ocean or bury him underground. Been there, done that. And while Leon's used to the final blow with the rocket thing, like I said, Jason has the annoying habit of coming back even stronger. Though, thinking about it, Leon trying to roundhouse kick an undead killing machine would be pretty funny to see. Right up until Jason grabs his leg and, you've watched the movies, you know. But you want to know what's worse than unkillable monsters that hunt you while you're awake? How about one that waits till you're asleep? And something tells me that the government's training didn't cover dream combat. Freddy Krueger. Now that we're in real nightmare territory, pun intended, laugh. Please. Leon's faced some pretty messed up stuff, but Freddy, not that one, thank you. This is a whole different ballgame. See, the thing that makes Leon such a treat in normal encounters, his training, his roundhouse kicks, his weapons, they don't apply here. It doesn't matter when you're trying to fight someone who literally controls the reality in your dreams. And after everything Leon's been through, his dreams probably aren't that peaceful. Think about it, this guy has watched a whole city fall to zombies, he's watched an entire village get attacked by this plague and have to murder innocent people for the most part. He's even dealt with whatever that is supposed to be. It's like serving Freddy a buffet of trauma to work with, sadly. But wait, I hear you typing in the comments, Leon is strong-willed, and he resisted Las Plagas. And that's actually where I agree with you. I completely agree with that point. He did defend himself against and try to fight this plague that he got. So I don't see why he couldn't try to fight this dream guy. The way I could see Leon trying to survive this is he's got military training. Maybe he's good at convincing people. Maybe he could convince Freddy Krueger to come into the real world and roundhouse kick him, or do like a backflip, or grab a grenade launcher, you know, something. Because once he gets Freddy Krueger to reality, he's just facing a burn victim. Plus, if the Freddy Krueger movies are in the world with Leon, he has a background on this. He knows what to do. But similar to some of the other ones, this one could honestly go 50-50. Although, I'm kind of curious now. What would happen if Freddy tried to possess Leon, only to run into the leftover Las Plagas antibodies he has in his body? That would be an interesting conversation. But if you thought this dream combat was difficult, let's get into something that is completely supernatural. Let's talk about Samara, something like that. The girl from The Ring, okay? Yeah, that's better. And before you say, oh, it's just a creepy girl in a well, let me remind you, this being can literally kill you through a TV. I'm 100% a Leon believer, but I don't think he has anything in his case that can help defeat a TV, except by smashing it. Here's what makes this matchup particularly interesting. I can't say that word. Wow, that was embarrassing. Most of Leon's skill sets become completely irrelevant in this situation. You can't roundhouse kick a cursed videotape. I mean, you can, but what? I mean, you can't roundhouse kick a cursed videotape. Well, you can, but I don't know how much that'll do. Sure, Leon has survived some pretty weird stuff, but there's always been something physical to fight. But then at the same time, Resident Evil is a puzzle game. Leon's figured out a bunch of stuff. I could very well see him trying to figure this out and succeed, but then at the same time, I could also see him not. The only way Leon survives is if he figures out that copying the tape loophole. And poor Leon, this would just add to the trauma when the Freddy Krueger fight comes up for him. But now that we're done with that, Samara from The Ring might have been a pretty big challenge, but honestly, Saw could go either way. Welcome to Jigsaw, also known as John Kramer. I'm just gonna start it off right here. If it's just Leon versus John Kramer on his own, no traps, no nothing, John Kramer's getting roundhouse kicked. Okay, it's over. But if we're gonna take the actual legitimate route, when we're not just talking about the 55-year-old man who has cancer and he's dying, but let's be honest, this might be a pretty lopsided match, and it's not in Jigsaw's favor. See, John Kramer's whole thing is breaking people's mental. Leon, his mental has been disintegrated, brought back to life, shot down, brought back to life, and shot with a rocket launcher again. This dude does not care. He's here to do his job and do his job well. Think about it. Leon's first day on the job in Raccoon City involves some of the most deadly puzzles ever. A jigsaw trap is basically just another Tuesday for him. Leon, I need you to get the escape key from inside the death machine. Okay, see, that's exactly how it would go. And if anything, this is just easier than what he's done before. He's dove through laser hallways. You think this is gonna pose any big challenge for him? Like we've said, he's ridiculously good under pressure. He might even like it a little bit. This is someone who can line up a shot while doing a backflip over a laser grid that'll kill you. You really think a few saw blades are gonna throw him off? Plus, after dealing with Salazar's weird mechanical traps, these are honestly nothing compared to that. Leon's just gonna call and say, hey, that's cute. Call me when you got a giant robot trying to crush me. And finally, Pennywise. We're ending it on a strong one, and it's not in Pennywise's favor either. Alright, final boss time. And before you start thinking there's an automatic loss for Leon, delete your comment right now, because I'm about to prove you wrong. This guy's main objective is to deal with things that aren't meant to exist. He is part of a bioterrorism unit. A little bit of whatever this is doesn't matter to him. Now, Pennywise's whole thing is finding what scares you the most. I think you know where I'm going with this. After Leon's first day in Raccoon City, his fear meter is probably broken. Nothing scares this man anymore. He just gets annoyed or just wants to join them and play bingo. Leon cares more about doing parkour than being concerned by the two chainsaw ladies running at him. What's Pennywise gonna turn into? A zombie? Leon's gonna murder you. Oh, a crazy, big, horrible monster? He's been there, done that. Multiple times. But I hear you typing, oh, but Pennywise is a cosmic horror. Yeah, and Leon's dealt with parasitic, mind-controlling worm. He's also dealt with Salazar. I can't get over the point of whatever this is. He's dealt with this, okay? It is almost virtually impossible for this man to get scared. When you think he's scared, he's more than likely just annoyed. Imagine Pennywise pulling his craziest trick, trying to scare you, and then you just stand there like this. That'd probably just make Pennywise mad. And let's talk about that belief can hurt it. You know what Leon believes in? Getting the job done. This is someone who's turned impossible situations into his personal highlight reel. When reality says you can't suplex this cultist while shooting another one midair, Leon says hold my backflip. Would it be an easy fight? Probably, maybe not. We gotta think about it. Pennywise got beaten by a bunch of kids. They got a bunch of baseball bats and proved they weren't afraid. Leon's got rocket launchers, man. He also has government training. He's probably been taught not to break under pressure when being like interrogated or try to be scared. And after Pennywise figures out what has happened to Leon, he might just turn around and walk away himself, because that stuff is tragic, noopatic. So there you have it. Today we figured out that most of your favorite horror movie monsters stand little to no chance against Leon S. Kennedy. Before you leave, make sure to like and subscribe, and check out this video on the screen right now, because if you like this one, I know you're gonna like that one too.